With the Vince Russo and Ferrara star date officially set for next week, Nitro on October 11th was a transitional show with everything from product direction to on-screen talent set to be re-evaluated over the next 7 days. WCW and an hour later Raw started with a tribute to industry legend Gorilla Monsoon, who passed away Wednesday, with Bobby Heenan getting emotional in his tribute on commentary and Vince McMahon narrating a video to start the show. While still not in charge of the TV product, Russo and Ferrara were both backstage in Biloxi, Mississippi to prepare for their start and observe the environment in the company. Russo noted that he watched the last 2 weeks of television between October 4th and this night, saying that there's a great amount of room for improvement and things need to be broken down and built up in a gradual climb. In addition to that, Russo said that from now on he will not watch the Raw shows to fully focus on his new job. 10 minutes from the hour, Hall and Nash were back in the crowd sitting in the front row. When asked about his return, Nash sarcastically said that he's still retired, with Hall saying that they're out to watch Goldberg. Heenen asked when we are going to see the Outsiders back in action, to which Nash responded saying in July 2012. For the 4th week in a row, Goldberg was placed to wrestle at the end of the first hour, perhaps in getting as many people to watch as possible in what is traditionally the highest-rated quarter of the show, going over Horace Hogan in 3 minutes, and before it having a backstage confrontation with Seed. Like last week, the Goldberg match ended just as Raw was going on the air, with the show in a commercial break when the Raw opening started. With rumors going around about his future with the company under the new regime, including Russo specifically asked in interviews about his creative control contract, Gene introduced Hulk Hogan to play off and add to the story, cutting a work-shoot promo in a different demeanor saying that he's going to finish in the business on his terms when he wants to, telling the guys at the back that come Halloween Havoc he's going to get the last laugh. Setting the stage for an angle with his immediate future unknown after the Sting match on October 24th. Vince McMahon opened the first ever Raw in WCW's home base of Atlanta, Georgia, for the company's first show in the territory in 8 years before the names Nitro and NWO existed. Looking in a good mood in front of a huge crowd of over 35,000 people from the Georgia Dome, Vince said that it feels good to be back in Atlanta before introducing Steve Austin to a massive reaction, hyping the Triple H title match on Sunday. Austin talked about Hunter attacking JR last week and called him out right now, saying that he's not waiting 6 days. Triple H teased going to the ring before attacking JR again to start the brawl, eventually setting up Austin and Ross against Hunter and Chyna for tonight in JR's first ever match. In an unusual pattern, perhaps with the curiosity of the WWF's return to WCW territory, Raw started big with a 6.4 rating and peaked in the first quarter. WCW had Shane Douglas calling out the Revolution, with the group eventually turning on him before walking away, while Raw had Mick Foley waiting for Rock's arrival outside the Georgia Dome, teasing the breakup of the Rock and Sock connection after both exchanged shots Thursday on SmackDown. Foley teased the turn, saying that he hit Rock by mistake, or that maybe subconsciously it was intentional because one of them is not being a team player, saying that he needs the answer tonight, setting the stage for the confrontation when Rock arrives. Mankind was still pacing outside the building while inside the Brahma Bull logo showed up on screen as the stadium stood up, with JR having Rock on the phone, updating on Foley waiting to confront him in the parking lot. Rock said that he doesn't like or care about Mankind, saying that he's in a limousine on the way and in a few minutes he's gonna turn the Georgia Dome upside down. When asked about who he sees as future top players in the company, Russo mentioned Buff Bagwell along with Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero Kidman among others, saying that he sees Bagwell in particular having top drawing potential, while Ferrara talked about Goldberg as the one who will carry the torch as the top guy in the promotion. Ric Flair came out for a promo calling out Curt Hennig after attacking David earlier, including calling him Mr. Perfect for a moment, setting up Flair vs Hennig for tonight before hyping the Dallas Page match for the Havoc pay-per-view. The fully motivated Edge and Christian and Hardy's tag teams continued to take things up a notch in every match they wrestled, going 5 minutes in a double DQ to set the final match of the series for No Mercy. Moments later a limousine arrived as Rock walked to the stadium making his Atlanta debut, jumping over 500,000 viewers doing Raw's peak 6.3 rating after the first quarter, saying that he doesn't care about how Mankind feels or about the Rock and Sock connection, before hyping the British Bulldog match for Sunday, saying that the people only care about one man being the WWF champion, telling them to listen as over 35,000 people in unison chanted his name. Rock said that since they're in the home of the Georgia Bulldogs, he invited some of the mascots and has a surprise for Bulldog for later. Rock said that everyone in Atlanta wants to hear the most electrifying line in the business, before doing impersonations of Flair, Savage and Hogan in WCW territory. Foley entered the frame asking where they stand before Vince showed up saying that Rock and Sock will last at least another 24 hours, booking them against Bulldog and Val for the main event. It was clear by the viewership pattern on the night that the audience saw it as a transition show as WCW started with a 2.1 and remained in the low 2 to 2.4 range throughout the night no matter who was on TV, peaking with 2.4 ratings for the Revolution segment and their match against Trey and Kidman going 13 minutes. At the same time Raw had X-Pac vs Farooq at the top of the hour, with X-Pac continuing the angle with Kane telling him not to interfere in his matches. Raw's huge crowd on the night with over 33,000 paid, including over 20,000 tickets sold on the first day they were put on sale in July, was the second largest crowd in show history, only behind the Toronto Skydome Raw show in February. In Monday Night War's history it was the fourth biggest crowd overall after the Skydome and two Georgia Dome Nitro shows in July '98 and January 1999. Backstage Rock told Mankind to take care of the Bulldogs to set up the surprise for Smith later. With the company hyping the signing of Russo and Ferrara throughout the week as a new era for the product, putting a spotlight never before seen in the industry on the backstage creative process of the business, both did a website chat saying that they spent many Thursday afternoons during their creative meetings finalizing the Raw script, thinking about what they would have done if they worked on the WCW shows, noting their deep talent roster as one of the main attractions for their signing. While talking about working around the network censorship at Turner, saying that it will take a few months before seeing movement in the ratings as they're starting from square one, but changes will begin to be visible after the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view. Ric Flair and Curt Hennig went 10 minutes, ending up with Rick going over after David's interference, while Raw jumped over 600,000 viewers in the final quarter for the two hyped tag matches. Austin and Hunter had a wild brawl all over the stadium with Chyna and JR in the ring, ending up with Jeff Jarrett attacking Chyna to put her in a laundry hamper and throw her off the loading dock in the final build to the Jarrett vs. Chyna housekeeping match, heading into what ended up being the most talked about week in Jarrett's career, with his contract having 5 days left on it flying under the company radar with him going into No Mercy with the IC belt. WCW jumped 600,000 viewers for the 9-minute overrun, having Bret Hart and Chris Benoit teaming up against Lex Luger and Rick Steiner in the main event spot. Seed interfered as the three-heel group laid out Hart and Benoit to bring out Goldberg, spearing Rick before Seed took the microphone, going face-to-face with Goldberg for the first time after months of build-up, taunting him with the no-touch stipulation, as Goldberg teased leaving the ring before spearing Seed to a huge pop to close the show. The WWF shot the final angles for the top two matches at No Mercy, with The Rock and Mankind vs. Bulldog and Venis match ending with Rock giving Bulldog a rock bottom on the dog plate, while Austin and Triple H continued to brawl backstage with Austin locking Hunter in a room with a snake. Raw drew a 6.1 rating heading into the pay-per-view, while WCW, with the focus already on the next few weeks, dropped to its lowest rating in years with a 2.7.